Hello, welcome to the presentation of this project, which is related to student grade management using file handling methods. My name is Deniz Berke Özsoy. Let's start our presentation. And our first task is checking file existence. If student.txt does not exist, creating one and adding the following sample data, which is listed in here. For doing that, I import the os.path library in our project. Then I used if and else condition for checking if path related to student.txt in our environment is a file. If is a file, it will return true, so our if condition will execute. Then it will print file is found. Then I use with open student.txt with w plus mode as a file, because w plus mode will open our file for both reading and writing. Then I use this file write methods because with new line character at the end, because the new line character is used after inserting each student to our respective file, because this structure will make our operations easier in future processes in our project. So we can use comma as a delimiter and new line as next student indicator in our file. It will go to next line when the new student is added. Then I use file.close method. I close the file because of preventing errors that can come from previously opened but not closed files after operation. So I close the file after process is done. In the else case, it will print this console log. File is not found. The new one is now created. So same operations again in here. I use v plus mode because it will not only open our file for both reading and writing, it will also create new file with a given name, student.txt, because our file does not already exist. And same operations exist in here. So our second task, program must display a menu like this with these functionalities. So let's start examining how I implement these functionalities. I use try and except block for error handling. So let's start the try block. I open our file with reading mode as a file, and I use string method in here. String function is used here for error capturing, which can come from scenarios like user enter integer like file name, and string function used here for converting non-string file names into string, like 1, 2, 3, 4 can be a file name. So let's continue. It's here because it gets an argument which is file. And then for reading every line, read function is used. It will read line by line in our specified file as the argument. Then for handling errors can happen when the file is empty, it will log this message and function will return execute. And it will use content of file, which is our reader file, strip. It will check is it empty or not. If not, and this if condition is like that. Then printing content of file if no errors occurs is in the console. Then closing file after process is done. Except block for catching errors when file is not found. Then this is my debug calls when I create this project. And def add a new student. For adding new student, it will get file as argument and new student as a second argument, which is also a string. Try except block. First error handlings, then functional implementation. If length new student is less than or greater than 0, cannot be less than 0, but I use 0. Name should be at least one character, or enter name, then return. And our split command 1, format should be student name, comma grade. Also check length of the parts, which is defined in here as a string, then if it's not, return. But this part is important. Grade part 1, strip. And if not, grade part is digit. Checking for is digit or not, because we are using numerical values. It should be numerical. And grade must be integer value, same conditions. Between 0 to 100, because grade of student cannot be less than 0 or greater than 100. So we are checking this condition also. So let's start how the adding new student is done. I used append plus mode used here for opening file in append and read mode in order to add a new student without deleting previously existing one. Because if I use write or write plus mode, it will delete the previously written students. file only exists current mode, but in append mode it will keep the existed one only right at the end. Then I also use string method in here to prevent our program from non-string type usernames, just for error handling. Then I add the new student, as you can see in append mode file. Then printing new student from confirmation to edit the full file for confirming process is done. Then closing file after process is done. And again, except block used in here for catching error when file is not found. Then my function calls that from project creation. Then I'll remove a student function which can take argument file name and delete the student, which student we want to delete from our file. It uses a flag variable which is found for detecting cases where no student found in the file while deleting. And I used this open with deleted students.txt as a file name with using append mode. Because to save all the deleted students from a file after operation is complete, I create a new file named as deleted students.txt. I used a plus mode and for appending deleted student info to the file as a new information and not erasing previous deleted students. So it will not erase previous information, only append new information. Like before, if I use write mode, it will delete previous information, but append mode and only appends at the end. Then I used the file argument, which is given in here with string mode, again, with opened in a reading mode as a file. I read lines in the file, and for handling empty file cases, I checked if lines is 0 or not. If it's 0, file empty. And then for placing our pointer back to start our file, I use seek function to set the pointer to the 0. Then I close the reading mode because I get all the lines from our file and store them in the variable called lines. I use same function methodology in other functions also, as we can see in the following examinations. Then I opened the same file which is given as argument with writing mode in this case, because I will delete a student, not only reading, and as a file. Then I use for loop in the lines for iterating over each line, iterating over each student's information to find the student we want to delete from our file. Then I use split function with delimiter and comma and lower for handling in case insensitive cases. Then strip function to delete student only using the name of the student without entering its respective grade. And because when I want to delete a student from our file, I want to only enter its name. Don't want to also give the information of the grade, so it enhances our capability of our function. So it's got a broader perspective. Then I use split and strip functions, so it will work as following. Split function will use comma as a delimiter to parse our line. Then it will use zeroth index with strip function to clean the rest. Zeroth index corresponds to name of the student, because students as follow. For example, example, comma, for example, 85. The name is the first index. After the delimiter is second index, which is 0 and 1. So I use this logic in here. And this is where all the things happen. And I use name of the student, which is our name of the given line. Then strip the next line character, because it will go to next line. For example, user x1 then goes to x2. For example, there's new line character after the end, because it's going to new line like we expected. For also deleting the new line character, I use strip function. Strip function used here for checking next student without considering new line character. So it just considers our student information, and it will rewrite our file except the student we want to delete. if it is not the student we want to delete, and it will write it. And if it is the student we want to delete is equal to that student name, it will not write it. So it will be deleted from our file. And lower function used to convert our name to lowercase, it will make it case insensitive, also used in here for naming the file and the student we want to delete, both case insensitive. The logic explained. Then if condition to write deleted the students, just I change not equal to equal because we want to have backup file. The information into backup file, deleted students information into the backup file named as the deleted students.txt. If the student we want to delete is found, I will backup it to deleted students file with write method. Then I will set the flag to found. And else method use just pass. If not found, do not any operation. If this both if condition not satisfied, just pass. Then file.close because our operation is false, closed, finished, and also closing the deleted students file open in here with indentation rule applied. Then printing the deleted student from the file for confirming process is done. Is found, also bool value is used here. If it's not found, no student found in the file, checking the font, bool value, and except, also use try except, file not found as usual, also my function calls when I create this project. Then updating student grade function, it takes 3 arguments, file to update student name, update student grade, updated student name, updated student grade. Try block is instance, student grade, integer or not between 0 to 100. Grade must be integer value between 0 and 100. If it is not, it will return. And also, let's start our functionalities. I open the file in reading mode to firstly read all the lines. As usual, logic is same from the above. And length checking for handling empty file cases, again for placing pointer back to start of file, then closing for reading mode, and setting flag value of students before future operation begins as usual false. Then I write for writing the file, I open it in the red world, the same loop logic iterating over each student's information to find students we want to delete from our file, and same used in here, same file logic as explained in above, and in here strip function used here for checking next student without considering new line character as usual from the above. So it just considers our student's information. If the student name found in our respective file, it will update student's grade. How? With file.write method using fstring updated student name we take as argument, which is we want to update its grade, he or she is grade, then update student grade, this grade we want to set. It will write in this format. Then it will set found value to true, else it will just write our existing file entities. If the student name we want to update is not found, it will just stick with our existing file content, not update anything. Then I close because our operation is done. And then printing the deleted student from the file, it's just typo, updated. It should be updated. Let me fix it. Okay, from the file for confirming process is done. Then console logging, else condition wasn't found in this. If found value is not true, then as usual file not found error except handling. And class average, which is total divided by number of students, basically. For the that try block, as usual, reading mode, string, function, getting the lines. Then I use, after getting line number, I use len function to find total number of students, length of the file vertically. For example, x1, x2, x3, it will count as the 3 lines because read lines function one by one read it, not row by row. It will read line by line. So I use len function to find number of students. Then if number of students is equal to 0, file is empty. Then to calculate total of all students' grades, I initialize the variable named total grade and equal it 0. Then average also same meaning for it's a value for averaging all students' grades. And I use seek function and file that goes as like from above. Then I use same logic in for loops. Same logic, except I get the grade of student using second index, which is 1. At the above functions, I use name using 0th index, but now I use 1th index to get grade because I want to find average. Then in here, I use int function because grade of the function is a type of string. Because we are reading in a file, it will automatically convert it to string. It will get it as a string. Because of that, I use int function. For doing mathematical operation, I have to have numerical type. Otherwise, it will give error. It is another kind of error handling, so I convert it to an integer. And try except log, except value error, if grade in file is invalid. And it also solved this problem, but I also add this value error for some kind of special cases. Then I close the file because I get the total grade. My file method is done. Then I calculate the average by dividing number of students to total of grades, then printing the total average. Again, typo. Average student from the file of students. From the file for confirming process is done. Then I use round function for only printing 2 decimal after the point. And also file not found error handling. Then we are in the menu system for file operations. I use some general input function, enter name for bringing some text user friendly, and then enter grade function for it also have error handling. It has a while loop. It will mandate user to enter input, which is grade. Then it will create convert this entered value because it will get it automatically as a string. Then it will convert it using integer to int value. Then it will check is condition is satisfied. Grade must be between 0 and 100. If not, it will print an error and value error also in this case. Then I use while loop as usual. While true, this is our menu items given in our file. If choice 1, student show all students. If choice 2, enter name, it will enter user to a name. Not name is found, name should be at least 1 character. Enter a name. If it happens, just go back to menu. If comma in name must not contain a comma. If it happens, just go back to menu. It's just error handling, some user mistakes which can crash our program or our file structure. So I just handle them in here. And great, enter, and our function call with respect to parameters as usual. Then choice 3, if entered, our remove student function call. If choice 4, our update student grade call with again some user-friendly functions. If 5 entered, show all chases. And if choice 6 entered, there is a one case in here. I created a backup file. It's right, we mentioned it. But I don't want to store it every time the program runs. It will just back up the previously open run. So, for example, if I run it my program 5 times, so there is no need to store it the first one until the 5th round. Same names can duplicate. So I use R plus opening the reading file for deleting the student's file. Then truncate method is used in here. Truncate function used here for deleting backup file content after program is terminated. It will prevent our program from storing information which is left from previous runs. So it will only backup current run. Because if I run it 30 times or even more, there is no need to store first run, because it will make data leakage. It's just another kind of error handling. Maybe it is not necessary in this case, but I added for feature error handling. Also, file not found error handling, then break as usual and invalid point. If not, between 1 to 6, it will also print an error message. So let's run our function. And first, show all students grade. As usual, it creates the file with respect to names. Then it shows them. I want to add a new student. For example, the name of the student user, and his grade is 100. So let's check. User 100, it added. So I want to remove a student. I want to delete this student, user. So let's delete it. It's confirmed, it is deleted. So let's check it. It's deleted. So let's check our backup file. Is it backuped or not? It is backuped. I want to delete another student for confirming is our backup file is working correctly or not. I want to delete Emily Johnson with lower cases. Emily Johnson. For checking is our file case insensitive or not. Emily Johnson. Deleted. Let's check. Deleted. Deleted student. It backuped it. It is working. So let's update the student grade. Choice 4. I want to update grade of John Smith. So let's update it. Enter 100. Update it. Michael Brown. It was 78. Update it. Also set 100. Update it. And now both users have 100. So let's add another student with lowercase. User 75. Another student. User 2. It is converting into string. And 85, 89. And now show class average, which is our file. Show class average. 91. Average of this file is 91. From our function, returned value. Then I want to check. If I enter 8, what happens? Invalid option. Please choose 1 to 6. And I want to exit the file. Also backups true. Everything is working correctly. Exit. Exited. If I rerun it, clear our first set of values. Delete students backup is clear. This is our project.